The history of war reveals a cruel rule. The moment leaders begin to discuss peace talks is precisely when the battlefield becomes the most blood-soaked. Why is that? Because this is the stage of closing the books, like injury time in football, where both sides must throw their entire force to seize every strip of land, every factory, every hill. Whichever side holds more ground before the ceasefire order is signed will be the one to rewrite the map. The closer the negotiation rounds get, the number of casualties increases exponentially. Western media is buzzing like a festival, proclaiming that America and Russia are preparing to sit at the same table. That peace is dawning at the end of the dark tunnel of the Ukraine war. But before we clap in celebration, let's look straight at the reality on the battlefield. Coincidentally, in Donetsk, Kharkiv, or Kherson right now, there are no doves flying. There are only the roars of kamikaze drones, cruise missiles, and rocket artillery whistling over the heads of soldiers every night. Let's examine the three cauldrons of conflict currently incinerating the armies of both sides in Ukraine to see how costly those handshakes in the cold room truly are. More importantly, where will those handshakes in the cold room lead Ukraine when the battlefield is burning red every day? Pokrovsk. The noose tightening on the logistics jugular. The first flashpoint is named Pokrovsk. Imagine it this way. Pokrovsk is the massive gas station and ammunition depot that feeds the entire Ukrainian army in the east. Losing Pokrovsk is not just losing a town. It is losing the very breath of life. No logistics, no artillery shells, no fuel. Ukrainian troops in Donetsk and Avdiivka would be like having their oxygen tubes pulled, left with only two choices: surrender their weapons or run back to Kyiv. Does Russia know this? They know it very well. That's why, instead of launching an all-out offensive with tanks ramming straight through, Russia chose the pincer movement tactic, a classic but incredibly effective strategy that has not become outdated since World War II. They are not striking directly at the center of the Ukrainian forces. They are attacking both flanks, simultaneously turning the side and gradually tightening the encirclement, cutting each supply route like a person cutting an IV line. When blood can no longer flow to the frontline units, the defense lines will naturally crumble like wood meeting water. The tool Russia uses to execute this strategy is not columns of armored vehicles lined up abreast, but a weapon that is completely changing the Ukrainian battlefield, the Fab glide bomb. The name sounds simple, just a bomb, but the new generation Russian Fab is a true monster. These bombs, weighing 1.5 tons, 3 tons, or even 5 tons, are fitted with glide wings and guidance systems. Russian planes only need to fly 40 to 50 kilometers from the front line, drop the bombs, and turn back. The Fab handles the rest. It glides, it cruises, and when it reaches the target, the sky turns dark. A single explosion can collapse an entire reinforced concrete bunker, crush fortifications, flip armored vehicles, and take out an entire platoon. Ukrainian soldiers in Pokrovsk admit they hear the sound of the bombs from afar, but have no way to intercept them. No air defense system is close enough, and no shelter can withstand them. The feeling on the front line now is no different from sitting under the floor while a truck full of explosives is falling down from above. With the glide bomb and encirclement tactics, Russia is slowly but surely strangling Pokrovsk. The reason they are doing so is directly related to Washington. Late 2025, early 2026, if Trump pushes for a conflict-freezing agreement, the battlefield map must be fixed before the negotiation time. Whoever controls a strategic position has the biggest voice at the meeting table. Pokrovsk, therefore, becomes a mandatory trophy for Putin to declare to his nation that the Donbass has been fully recovered. For Moscow, capturing Pokrovsk means cutting the entire logistical system of eastern Ukraine in half. It is also the platform to expand the pincer movement down to Slaviansk and Kramatorsk, pushing Ukraine into a state of desperate defense. For Kyiv, this is the last line of defense. If it falls, an entire strategic region is lost. That is why the battle for Pokrovsk is not just a localized clash. It is the biggest test for both sides in this new phase of the war. Russia is testing how strong its combined air-ground artillery offensive power is. Ukraine is testing how much longer its deep defense system can hold on. If Pokrovsk falls, the balance of the battlefield could decisively tip toward Russia, opening a completely new dynamic before any international negotiation rounds. Kurakhove, the cauldron of despair. If Pokrovsk is the jugular, Kurakhove is truly turning into a simmering cauldron, a giant steel vat whose mouth is gradually closing. On the military map, the shape of this area resembles a tightly squeezed funnel. Meanwhile, Russian troops are flooding down from 3 directions like lava flows, pushing thousands of Ukrainian soldiers into a death trap. Here, Russia is not attacking en masse like a human wave, as many still imagine. They're advancing step by step, tightening each arc, and cutting each supply route like steel pliers. Ukraine's only retreat route, a fragile strip of road running westward, is now no different from a train track where every slight movement is scrutinized down to the millimeter by Russian artillery. As soon as a truck peeks out from the woods, it is immediately struck by an FPV drone descending from the sky like a hunting hawk. As soon as a group of Ukrainian soldiers runs across the land, a drone immediately detects them, marks the coordinates, and artillery rains down like thunder. This is no longer simple warfare. This is the live-fire testing of a deadly orchestra consisting of suicidal FPVs, rocket artillery, and glide bombs, operated by Russia almost 24/7. Why isn't Ukraine withdrawing? Because the order from Kyiv is to fight to the death. In a context where the world is talking increasingly about freezing the conflict, President Zelenskyy needs to prove that Ukraine still has fighting forces, still has defensive strongholds holding onto land, and still has an army capable of holding out. If Kurakhove is lost, the entire defense line west of Donetsk will collapse like dominoes, and Kyiv will be in a weaker position than ever at the negotiating table. Therefore, holding Kurakhove means holding a voice, even if the price is the lives of thousands of soldiers. Although Ukrainian soldiers try to move at night, thinking the darkness will hide them from drones, Russian drones are equipped with infrared cameras, clearly seeing people against the dark background like moving light bulbs. They cannot run during the day, nor can they retreat at night, remaining stuck in the encirclement pocket, waiting for wave after wave of shelling to plow the ground. Russia holds an advantage that Ukraine cannot make up for: ammunition. Long-range artillery, glide bombs, and especially the industrialized production of killer drone forces. In 2024 to 2025 alone, Russia has declared the production of over 1 million FPV drones, a number that has shocked the West. These 200 to 400 United States dollars drones are destroying Ukrainian armored vehicles, self-propelled artillery, and infantry at an absurdly low cost. Meanwhile, Ukraine is lacking artillery shells, anti-drone missiles, motorized vehicles, air power, and even reserve forces. One side is fighting with the giant weapon of an entire economy shifted to wartime production orders, while the other must patch together small, sporadic batches of support from the West to defend itself. Kurakhove becomes a test of pure endurance. Who is tougher? Who has more ammunition? And who can endure losses longer? And in that cruel game, Russia holds the upper hand. In reality, the battlefield shows this position is difficult to hold. It is being squeezed into the shape of an hourglass. The mouth of the pocket completely closes. The Ukrainian units still inside will be unable to retreat, unable to be resupplied, and will likely be completely destroyed, similar to Bakhmut in 2023. That is why Russia is stepping up its offensive at Kurakhove. They want to create a symbolic victory, a turning point for the entire Donbass front, before the global political situation changes. Kursk, Zelenskyy's all-in bet. The Kursk strike took place in August, when Ukraine unexpectedly launched a cross-border attack that even shocked Russian media. Armored vehicles, commandos, and rocket artillery simultaneously poured across, seizing a series of villages and forcing Russian forces onto the defensive. On Ukrainian social media at the time, people were delighted, saying Kyiv had finally brought the war to Russian soil, and the real objective was clear: land for land. Zelenskyy wanted to create a situation where, in negotiations, he could say to Putin, "Do you want Kursk back?" and release the Donbass. A diplomatic Ilin maneuver where Ukraine exchanged soldiers' lives for a bargaining chip. But the problem is that the other side is not a novice opponent. Putin not only refused to negotiate, he considered this a severe act of provocation. According to the assessment of many Western intelligence agencies, the Kremlin views Ukraine occupying Russian land as a new red line, something that cannot be allowed to exist before entering any negotiations. Instead of negotiating, Russia mobilized 50,000 troops, rumored to even include North Korean comrades coming to help. Determined to sweep Ukrainian forces out of Kursk before the negotiation day, Russia does not want to trade. Russia wants to take everything back by force. Currently, the Ukrainian troops in Kursk are being ground down, as they are cut off from aid, and Russian bombs are pounding them day and night. This all-in bet by Zelenskyy is in danger of becoming a military disaster, as elite troops are trapped and annihilated on foreign soil. The upcoming US-Russia talks will determine the fate of Ukraine. If Russia captures Pokrovsk and Kurakhove, they will hold the upper hand. If Ukraine holds Kursk, they still have a slight hope of salvaging their honor. But no matter the result, tens of thousands of soldiers on both sides of the front line will never see that day of peace. They have fallen in these fateful moments of injury time. What do you think? Will Ukraine be able to hold this position until the day a peace agreement is signed, or will Russia mince them and force them to accept the loss of land? Please leave your comments and analysis.